Always remember, your life story is a combo of facts, hearsay, and imagination. Let's go way back now and talk about ancestry. By learning about our ancestors and bringing them to life through their stories, we honor their memories and we also learn about who we are. So, who were your ancestors? Were they brave pioneers, people of devoted faith, war heroes, entrepreneurs, gifted artists, rebels? Like most of you, mine were a combo. I won't go there now, except to say there were a few inventors and one rebel that I know of, hint, the gunpowder plot back in 1605. Delve deep into the many layers of your ancestors' lives while making the connections from them to you. Was one of your ancestors a writer? Aha, there's a connection right there. Do all of your ancestors justice. After all, you are their spokesperson. Start by gathering material. Look for information-packed documents like birth, marriage, and death certificates, census, church and military records. Perhaps you could visit a few graveyards. They speak volumes. Play detective. Look for clues. For instance, after some good investigative work, someone wrote, "It appears that John and Mary Aiken led comfortable lives in Canada because they were among the few people at the time who could afford tombstones to mark their graves." How about those prized family heirlooms? If you're lucky to have some family antiques, cherished heirlooms and photographs, and any other kind of paraphernalia, study everything carefully. If things are engraved, they may reveal dates and provide names. Clothing and furniture could reflect your ancestors' status or taste, and books may suggest their educational level. This is great detective work. Create a timeline as far back as possible. Go back into your family's history as far back as the barbarians, for example, to lay the groundwork for your family's character and their steadfastness in the face of challenges, generation after generation. Someone wrote, "Maybe we were barbaric, like history says we were, but we sure got the Romans nervous, and believe me, that was quite a feat back in ancient times." Another thing you can do is look into your last name. Everyone's surname has its own mini history behind it. We used to be the O'Burnses. The O might have been dropped in 1800s because it meant of God during a period of religious persecution. What is your surname's origin and story? Always try to set the backdrop of the times. History was never this cool. Find out what was going on in the era you're writing about and then how these events related to your ancestors. Depending on the country, research events like medical breakthroughs, the Industrial Revolution, the major wars or the smaller conflicts, the state and acceptance of religion, and the transportation like cars, railroads, ships, and so on. Use hearsay and imagination as you adopt adverbs like probably and likely in your storytelling to illustrate that although what you're saying might not be verified, it is highly credible based on your research. For example, like most farmers, Charlie probably couldn't afford a cart, so he loaded his potatoes into 2 homemade wicker baskets and straddled them over his horse. Always remember to use language of the times you're writing about to draw your readers into the experience. How about smelt a rat? My grandmother may have said this when she found the front door open and the piano gone. How about giggle mug? That would have been a good description for my great Uncle Ron's smiling face. How about knuckle down? Something our ancestors had to do when they arrived on the shores of the New World after 16 weeks at sea. Visit thehistoryoфenglish.com to find some great words and phrases to use when writing about your ancestors. That's my 2 cents worth. Now, if you really want to get to the heart of your ancestors' stories, include their day-to-day activities. For instance, if they lived on a farm, was there wood to be chopped? Or cleaning, or cooking, or sewing? Were there cattle that had to be slaughtered? Or equipment which had to be repaired and maintained? A fun thing to write about, which is also part of the day-to-day stuff, is how children played, like apple throwing and tag, and also include the toys they had, or made, perhaps. Someone wrote, animal bones were our toys, cow bones, horse bones, bird bones, or any dead thing's bones. We'd rip the rotten flesh off the skeleton to get to them. Even maggots weren't going to stop us. Now we're getting to the real heart of your ancestors' stories, the day-to-day stuff, things like music and poetry. These finer details reflect the emotions of the people at the time. Do some research and expand. For example, Auld Lang Syne by Robbie Burns, sang on New Year's Eve. Keep the home fires burning during World War I. Please, please tell your readers about the mountains of chores, the children's games, the nostalgia music, as you bring your ancestral stories to life with the day-to-day stuff. Follow up on all your characters as you write about your ancestry. Tie up all loose ends. Tell your readers what happened to everyone in your story. And if you don't know, tell your readers you don't know. And let your imagination wander. Death notices might be useful here. Select a forefather and do some detective work, and using some of the language of the times, bring them to life as you examine antiques, study last names, and set magnificent backdrops. Don't forget the day-to-day stuff, and tell your readers what became of all your characters. You are your ancestors' spokesperson, so it's up to you to tell their stories with pride and with a great deal of respect. You owe this to them. After all, you are the direct result of all their love.